I think things are going good. But you think I forgot to put the thing on. Okay. I think the internet is on and the microphone is on. I don't know. Is this somebody? Hello. I don't have it. All right, Misfortune, we can do this. Yes. Okay. And now we have it. Because hello, Froze! Oh, sorry. I'm here today with Natalia, so you know. Yes, Misfortune is here with me today. Because today is a very special day for the little ladies. Right? Yes. Hello, friends, and welcome to a new Q&A special live with us, and of course with our special guest today. She is an incredible game designer. I'm like, oh, I want to know everything that she does because, and yes, and kind of, we're gonna get to know her more. She has been like going around the world, working in these very huge games that you see and how they do it, you know, so it's gonna be amazing to talk to her and get a lot nerdy with her today. So welcome to our live streaming, Karoline Forsberg. Woo!
Hello.
I was gonna say your name like in English, like Caroline, and then I remember maybe that is Karoline. I don't know. I never really kind of understood that. Is it
Caroline works well as well. I usually present myself as Caroline when I speak English. But if I speak Swedish, I say just Karoline. So it kind of depends like the language I speak, but Caroline, that works perfect.
All right. We're going with Caroline then today. So yes. But welcome, Karoline. Okay, I can't. Karoline, it has been a long time now that we have been like chatting a little bit, and we met a while back at a games conference. And yes, I immediately thought of you like a very cool person to talk to, very creative, and wow, your career is like going like this quick, you know. Oh my god, how she do it. Yes, tell us a little bit about you, Caroline. Caroline.
So once again, thank you for having me here. And once again, I'm really also a fan of the work that you do with like Frambau and Little Misfortune as well. So it's really happy to be here. But I've been working in the game industry for quite some time. I started 2013, so it's almost 10 years. But like one of the first games that I worked on that kind of more bigger that people know about was Star Stable. So I started with Star Stable around 2014, and I was working there for quite a while. Then I was going to England and working for a games company called Dreams, where I worked on one of the titles that was released, I think it was last summer maybe, that's called Fract. And then I've been working on EVE Online at CCP Games in Iceland that I've been spending some time the last year, basically. So I've been working a bit here, a bit there. Quite different games, I would say, if you compare like Star Stable with EVE Online and then VR games. So kind of like that.
Wow, it's and also like what you say is so different stuff, like VR coming into that. How was that experience?
That was actually, it was weird. In one way, it was kind of like starting over, like on square one again. So I had worked on Star Stable and doing all of sort of kind of stuff for that game. And then I went to VR. It was suddenly like first person, but also like in the VR mode. So it was so different from doing Star Stable that is in like a third person view. So I know that I asked my colleagues basically like, what would you recommend me to think about and how should I, approach this? And they were like, just forget everything you know about game design and then start from scratch. And that is actually like, I think every time I've started on something new, I always ask my colleagues, like, for their, like, for them to share their knowledge and their expertise, because I know that they are like the people you work with are a bit your strength because you're doing it together. And every team I worked with, I've learned so much from those people. So I feel like the people I worked with has been my strength to just learn from them and try to adapt and those kind of things. And I think like when you do that, you can kind of quick and easy start to, ramp up, try to pick up the things, how things work, and start to adapt it with your previously knowledge, basically, and then bring them in.
And your little sauce there, you know? Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, cool. So I'm like really like following your career. Like, wow, what a woman! You make me very, very proud. Really, it's like so cool.
You're making me blush.
Good. Little ladies blush, you know. Yeah, but so cool, Karoline. Congratulations on everything, and
Thank you.
I bet you have been working really hard to get where you are today. So awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So in the overall, I want to also get to know a little bit more of the nerdy side of you. Like, who are you, Karoline? Yes, I have a question a little bit off topic here.
Of course.
What's something super cute that you can't resist? Like you get all
cats.
Cats, yes.
I love cats. I have 2 of them, and
Really?
even if I like every time I see them sleep or just lay on the couch, I get like, I want to pet you. I really want to pet you. But yeah, I think cats are the things I can't really resist. They are so adorable. They're so fluffy, and like they paws and their ears and like everything is so
and
cute.
the purring.
Exactly.
Yeah, so cute. You said you had 2 at home.
Yeah.
What's their names?
So one of them is called Sinus.
Sinus?
And the other one is Troya.
Troya. Okay.
So Troya, I usually describe them as Troya is the smart one. She knows how to open doors, while Sinus is quite stupid. He's super adorable, but it feels like sometimes he doesn't have much of a brain power.
Oh, does he stare at the blank of everything?
Yeah, a lot of the time he does that, but he loves cuddles. Like he can basically cuddle 24/7. And you might think that if cuddle back, he will get bored of it, but no, he won't get bored of it.
He wants more.
Yes,
more of the cuddles. Yeah,
exactly.
That's so sweet. Oh. Do you the one that once go outside? You said.
No, they are indoors.
Indoors, cat both.
Yeah, it's basically since we have them here in a bigger city, like in Stockholm. It doesn't feel super safe.
I get it. Yeah.
And then so they are indoor cats.
Yummy. Do they jump on the desk when you're working or stuff?
Yeah, they can definitely do that. I think at the moment they are sleeping because they have had their dinner time, and they've always have this kind of thing that after they have had dinner, they usually take a few hours to just nap and relax. And then later tonight, they're going to wake up again, be a bit like alert, and then they're going to be screaming, at me to go to bed, basically.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet. Kitty's in bed. So cute. So what's the season you like the most of the year?
That's a really good question, because I think every season has its own perks.
Yes, of course.
I really like fall because I kind of like when it's stormy and windy and rainy and like
The
really
chaos, a little
yeah.
bit, the dying, yeah.
I kind of really think it's so cozy.
Yeah.
So I really like the fall. But I also think like the spring can be so nice, like it is now in Sweden and Stockholm. Now before summer really begins, and you can kind of see everything waking up to life, and like all the trees are so beautiful and so on. So I think like maybe it's spring and fall that I like, because
Yeah.
then you can see the changes.
Yeah, and it's really cute that you say that you like the changes, because it kind of connects you with this fearless person that you are, like, I'm not afraid of change, and it's really cool. I totally get you there. And yeah, it's so beautiful right now here in Sweden, like every tree like waking up like the, oh, it's super cute.
It's super adorable. Like it's really nice.
So, Caroline, what was your first video game you played?
My first video game I ever played.
Yeah, you
Oh,
remember?
that is a good question. It might have been like either it was Super Mario Bros.
Mhm.
3,
Okay. Yeah.
either it was that one, or it was a game that I'm not sure if people really know about, but it was like a computer game. That was, I think it called Chip or
Ship.
Chips, and you
Okay.
were this little tiny person, and you were running around trying to solve puzzles. So you were gonna try to find a key in this labyrinth. I think like I haven't really found this game since then, but I know that I loved to play it as a kid, and I know that me and my brother used to try to, take turn to solve the puzzles. So you had different squares that you could see, like, so I think like you kind of had needed to end up on right squares to open up the right
Yeah.
doors, and then get the key to get outside of the labyrinth.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it was either that one or it was Super Mario Bros. 3, since
Yeah.
we got like a Nintendo, a NES,
Oh, yes.
really early.
Cool. Yeah, I totally get that about not finding those games that maybe we play when, yeah,
Yeah,
it's a bit, oh, yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I wish that some of the games could just be, coming back.
Yes. Maybe there are in some archive or something.
Yeah,
We can do some research there. Okay,
yeah,
I have a question from one of our fans.
yeah.
Fiso is his name or hers. Question: what is the most difficult part of your job? How long did you study before you got a job?
So I was taking a 3 years bachelor degree in computer science, and that was kind of what opened up this field, kind of. But I think there is so many ways into the game industry that I don't think like you don't need a like 3 year bachelor degree.
Yeah.
There is more than one way into this, basically. Like there is vocabulary schools, some are self-learned and just teach themselves on their spare time, and
Here.
then they
Here.
exactly. So I mean, like, you don't
Yes.
need really,
Yes.
I mean, once
Yes,
again,
we need those that go to bachelor and ask them questions on online
but
interviews.
but
Yes.
yeah, so that was the education I went for.
Yeah.
And I would say like the most difficult thing is, it's a hard question. I think like for me, it always takes a bit of time to try to figure out who you are making the game for. So I think like that is one of the key and the central parts in being like a game designer. Like, who are you making the game for, and why are these people going to play your game? Why are they going to enjoy it, and what is it that they are looking for? Like trying to identify those keys elements that your players are looking for when they're playing the game and when they are playing your games.
Yeah.
So I think that is one of the parts, to try to figure that out and try to also adapt it into the things that you are doing.
Yes.
So yeah, I think it's a good question what the hardest part is, but I think it's probably to just try to like find this good balance.
Yes.
And
I
yeah,
totally get it. It's so beautiful what you say about, adapting into each project, because I find that so true. I mean, every project is so unique in its way,
yeah,
and the new content needs to be treated like with respect, and actually, yeah, somebody's gonna spend time there, and
Yeah,
getting into this world. And yes, there's a lot to,
definitely.
yeah. But have you felt like sweaty sometime? Like, oh, this
A
is
lot of
rough.
times. Like I'm someone who's quite a lot of time pushed myself out of my comfort zone, like just going to a different country, and every time I've done that, like I've had those moments where I've been like, oh, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing this to myself? I have no idea what to do. I can say that it's quite often when I am tasked with like a design task, I sit and it's like I have no clue what to do. I have no idea how I'm going to solve this. And then it feels like even when you do stuff, it's like sometimes it feels like I have no idea what I'm doing when I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And that can be stressful, but I don't know. I think like it's just this kind of feeling that I think a lot of people in this industry has, that we are not really belonging here, that we
Yeah.
don't really know what we're doing, we're probably just faking it, and that kind of thing. Like I think like a
Yeah.
lot of people in this industry has those feelings.
Yes, I totally get it. And I think also it has to do a lot with that this industry is quite young, and
Yeah,
there's like we are creating ourselves our own leaders kind of, and how we work, or
yeah,
the workflows and all that. So, and like you said earlier, it's a lot about, getting into a new project with new eyes and opening up. So it's kind of, you need to allow yourself to be a kid and just play around and mess
yeah,
up, and a lot it's going to go wrong, and
yeah,
it's not going to be fun when you apply it.
yeah.
And some other times it's amazing.
But I
So
think that is kind of what you're saying. Like it
mm.
usually never gets the right thing the first time you do it. You kind of play
Yeah.
around, and sometimes it is like when you throw like the spaghetti on the wall, like you just see which one will stick on it, like which one
Yes,
will
it's
get stuck.
that.
And then you're
The
like, okay,
spaghetti on the wall. We're gonna use that at Kill Monday Games now. This is the spaghetti on the wall. I love it. Thank you for that.
yeah,
So we have another question
yeah.
from the fans. I need you. It's the name.
Hmm?
Hello. And how or where would you start if you wanted to get into the game making industry? Where to start? Where?
I think it depends kind of where you are in life. I would still really say that if you have the possibility to get into a school, it can be really beneficial, because then you will have teachers that can guide you and mentor you, and you will get a lot of knowledge from that. And then what school you want to choose, that is up to you. But like there is so many different good schools out there, basically. If you're in a position where school is not really, right for you, depending on where you are in life, I would say start looking at like Unity, Unreal, Game Maker. There is a lot of game engines out there, and I know like I'm not I'm not doing any like sales point for either Unity or Unreal, but I think those two engines are good because they have this free kind of thing where you can develop games without having to pay any money to use it. They
Yes.
have basically like this license free unless you start to make a lot of money out of it.
Yeah, exactly. So yes.
And then there is also a lot of YouTube or tutorials as well. So I kind of feel like there is a lot of good free tutorials for those engines as well. So that is what I would recommend. Start to look at one of those because it's free. The tutorial is free. It's quite user friendly once you start to get to know them, and you can do quite a lot of stuff in them. Like you can do
Yes.
really a lot of stuff.
Oh, yes. It's amazing how much information there is available for everybody to pick on. And I think one of the most important things is like to understand what you want to do first, like have
Yeah.
an idea, a goal, and it's a lot easier to begin from there, because if you just do tutorials that maybe are not connected to what you feel, then you're not gonna feel so inspired.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
but once you get to see something that you really kind of had here, it's like, yeah, that
Yeah.
really is amazing. We have another question here from a name in Russian that I know how to read. I'm sorry. Anaha Anaha, I don't know. So what inspires you? Karoline?
That's also a good question. I think there's a lot of different things. Like, this is gonna sound so cheesy, but one thing is the players. I feel like every time I've worked with something, I really feel like I want to do it for the players, gonna enjoy it, and it's so rewarding when you do something and it goes live, and you see players react to it. I think that is something that is so rewarding. Like, I don't really care if it's like negative or positive comments, because the comments show that they care about what's happening. And yeah, for me, like, I just feel like I want to do good and fun stuff for the players, and that is something that really inspires me. But then, like, I think, like, for me, I've always wanted to also just inspire people in general. Like, I know when I was a kid, like, I feel like games was such a good medium where you could just be you. You could be free to be whoever you wanted to be, and that freedom that games gave me is kind of something I also want to give to other people, like a free space where you can be free from, like, maybe responsibilities, maybe stress, everyday life, and you can just go there and be you. Or try to be someone else, but like, you can just be in this safe space.
Exactly. It's like going into, it's just a relax,
Yeah.
and it also sometimes connected to so many feelings. So it becomes part of you. So yeah, it's very beautiful. And oh, Diana. Okay, Diana was the name of the girl. And she asked now, what do you like most about your job?
That is also, I think, like, it's probably the people. No, but like, I think I've been really fortunate. I work with so many talented, passionate, and kind-hearted people. So a lot of the time, the people makes my day. They are the ones that you're working close with. They are the ones where you kind of sweating in a way together with, like, when you're starting to get close to a release. They are the one that you see every day. You bounce ideas off each other. You maybe, say something that starts an idea for another person, and then, like, that lights up, and then you can see, like, this, ball start rolling, and you get this going together. I think, like, it's it's a really, really nice team spirit feeling.
Yes, it's beautiful. That process is so cool. I totally understand what you mean. So it's when the magic happens, right? When we communicate, when we play around and allow ourselves also to be pretty free as designers, right?
Yeah. But then also, I must say that when you start to see the team effort, being paid out, like once again, like when I worked on Fract, for instance, like when you see the product come to life, like when you have seen it from such an early stage, and then, like, when it comes to life and you can actually see the more final product, I think that is also so rewarding. Or like working on Star Stable, or even online, like when we've been working on a project for quite some time, and then we push the release button and it goes live. I think that is also such a reward, just see it go live, basically.
Yeah, so amazing. And then see all the fans liking it or hating it.
Yes.
You don't care. Right, we learn also to listen, and it's very good. I really like what you're telling me now. It's like it gives me this hope into the game industry that sometimes you don't hear often, because a lot of the negativity comes to light, and it's good that it comes to light, because it should come to light. But it's really cool to hear that there are also like teams that are very supportive to each other, and that and it's something that I can really like reflect from our team as well. We try to come closer every day somehow, and then when we understand together this world that we're creating, it's like it's cool. It's just so cool. So I'm very happy to hear that goes well. And if I take that kind of thread, have you experienced something that you have been like, this has been not so good in the game industry?
I mean, I think most of us have seen stuff and
Yes.
experienced stuff.
Yes.
Once again, like the things I've experienced have been more outside in other contexts.
Right, not in the work itself.
I know, like once again,
Yeah.
I've been really fortunate, like with the
Yeah,
teams I've been working with and
that's
the people that
amazing.
I've been working close with. I feel like there I've always had the support. I feel like the companies that I've been working for has been really working to keep like a really nice and lovely culture,
Yeah.
basically.
That's amazing.
And so I
Yeah.
still think like if someone feels scared or disencouraged because of all these stories floating around,
Yes,
like
exactly.
I
Yeah.
still really want to, encourage them to, dare to step into this industry, because even if there is some of these stories and these stories are true, like I'm not gonna say anything else than that, but don't let that discourage you, because on the
Yes.
other side there is so many kind-hearted and lovely people out there
Yes,
who
so
just want to
much
make
love
yeah
and yes,
exactly
exactly. And I think if we are more of this that want to, create together, then we can kick out
yeah
assholes, So, so yeah, we make it a more healthy, like the game industry with years. So I
exactly
hope that's nice. I like you so much, Caroline. I want to hug you. When can we hug? You're in Sweden now.
yes, we should meet up and give each
Yeah.
other a hug.
Yeah, a tight one.
Yes.
Nice. We have more questions here.
Yeah.
So let's hear. Web Sugar asks, if you could change one thing in your job, what could it be?
Oh, that's a good question. Like, I mean, to be honest, I've just recently started a new position. So I've just been at my new job for 2 days. So at the moment, I feel like I'm not really sure if I would want to change anything. But once again, like I like my job. I really like being a game designer. I like working with game design, and I kind of like the whole aspect of it, that game design is quite broad, and I kind of like that it is a bit broad, and that you work with these different kind of components, and that you kind of touch upon these different parts, basically. And that is actually
it like some maybe when it comes to how the system the workflow how you call that?
Yeah, I
that
mean,
feels, or how you work there, is it balance, or sometimes can get
I mean, I think it's if it's balanced, then like once again, like I haven't really thought of something that I'm like, oh, I want to change this, because I think it's also like I'm quite like goal oriented. Like I want to learn more. I want to grow. I want to grow in this career. So I've always tried to kind of like push myself to take the next step. And I think because I've always done that, my job has kind of changed with it as well. I think like it would have been different if I would have just been doing the same thing over and over again. For year after year after year, but since I've been on different projects and different companies, like each company and each project, as we mentioned before, are unique, and you can't really compare them with each other. So that is kind of what makes it fun, because every project is new.
Exactly.
And you need to like treat it as something new, and like, okay, so how am I gonna do this? And I think it's fun.
It's such a fancy job. You got to be creative all day long. Right?
Yes.
Oh, so cool. Then we have Emple22. What does building, making a game mean to you?
They're asking so hard questions.
They're just very smart.
They are
very goal-oriented fans we have here. They want to know the truth.
Yes. But building a game for me, it's basically like for me, I would say that it's a team effort. I know that there are games out there just made of one single person, and I would say like that's amazing. That's really, really amazing. But for me and my experience, it's always been like a team effort. It's a team effort. It's something that's really fun. It's usually really challenging. You really need to, you usually have those moments where you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm gonna do. And then it's usually when you step away from the computer, you do something else, you take a walk, you watch a movie, you play some games or something else. You just realize like, oh, what if I did that? Or what if we do this? And then you go back to the computer and you try it out, and then you progress. So I think like building a game, it's like team effort, and it's like an iterative process.
Yes.
It's never straightforward. It's like you're going around in a circle, and like once you reach one circle of it, you start over again, and you iterate on your own work over and over again, basically.
Until you feel like this is the right thing we're after.
Exactly.
Right? And you need to see it all the time. You need to test it, and
and I think it also helps you to progress with the building, because you can always, like, if you're a perfectionist, like with doing iterations, you can basically be like, it's okay, like this is just the first iteration, it doesn't need to be perfect. And then you do the second one, and it's like, it's still okay, this is just the second one. And then when you're like an iteration 50 or 60, like it will still not be perfect, but you start to get to maybe a place where you feel like this is good enough. This is actually good enough, and we can progress.
Exactly. And and leave it behind, because otherwise the game will never be
never
be done.
Yes.
It's really important to also know when to let it go somehow. Yes, we have more questions here.
Yes.
Oh my god. Afro, what's the hardest part of game development?
The
hardest part.
I think it's probably different for different like people. Like I think it depends, like also different projects. I think the most
can be when we feel like super lost.
Like
we're crying and we don't understand our life anymore.
That can definitely be something,
because then we need to take us up like persons, and then start believing again in our work. And it's like, it's a process, like the iterations that you're talking about. It's happy times. Oh shit. Happy times.
But that is actually true. I think it's like, as you said, those moments where it feels like you don't make any progress.
Like where it's so creepy.
You just feel like you're standing still, but you are moving. It's just in that you always get into that point of a project where it feels like you're just standing there and you're not going in any direction, and that can be really difficult to keep motivation up and morale up and like the team spirit up. But usually, like once you get over that part, it can start rolling again.
And it's party again, right? Yes. If I can tell you what I feel like is the hardest, want to hear?
Of course.
It's just this. When I started to make games, we were just Isak and I. So it was like we knew how to communicate. I mean, we can do like whatever, and we catch each other. But then when you start working, like you say, with new people and trying to understand their communication, their mindset, and that is kind of a mix you have to make there. And like you said before, like you have to adapt, and they also have to adapt. So it's kind of, that part is a bit difficult. And also the communication part, when maybe sometimes it doesn't go that well, or it can create a little bit of stress, and then it's like, oh no, I don't want to hurt anybody. But it's like when we are a bit in the lost somehow.
I think like that is something that's always like, it feels like it's always doomed to happen. Like even if I like working with people, you will always have like some time when there might be miscommunication or misunderstandings, and that can create frustration in the team. But I still think like it's good to just try to remember, like these people, they are not out there to be, mean or anything. It's just a misunderstanding. And usually like you can solve it by trying to sit down and be like, okay, so what's happening here? What's going on? And I think like those things have usually like the team has come out even stronger after those
totally
when that happens.
Yeah. And it's creepy, like sometimes it's hard to say things that maybe you want to say. And if you don't feel comfortable in a team, it's even harder. So it's also that getting to know each other, to feel comfortable and not being afraid that maybe I'm going to say something really stupid, and even if it is or it doesn't or it's not, it doesn't matter. It's just that you have to allow yourself that. Okay, we have more questions.
Exciting.
Here. Yeah, let's go. Ben's Erdest, what advice would you give to someone who wants to get into a creative position in the game industry?
So this would kind of be the same thing as we talked about before. I would, first of all, maybe suggest to study, go to a school. I know a lot of the vocabulary schools have internship as part of the education. So they have like contact with some of the gaming companies. So you can get like an internship position. Otherwise, it can be to start making your own games, like start learning Unity or Unreal through tutorials, and by building up like a portfolio, which is basically like a small homepage that you can have. And this is something you can do also totally for free. There is a lot of portfolio or homepage sites that offers you to create your own homepage for free without too much code knowledge or anything like that. And where you can start to post and, put up pictures of the things that you're creating. And once you have that, you can start to apply to jobs, like to entry positions and such. But what is important to remember is that when you make something, think like, what position do you want to go towards?
Exactly.
So like if you want to go into art, like focus on the art, like focus on the characters. If you want to do design, I mean, you don't really need like nice looking characters. You can just have like a square or like a ball, and then they doing like, going through a race or going through like a level or something like that. So it doesn't need to be looking pretty. And so those kind of things. So I think it's kind of like that. But then I would say like, just, this is also going to sound cheeky, but like, believe in yourself, believe that you can do it.
Yes, it makes the whole difference. I mean, if you don't believe in yourself but want to do something, maybe that portfolio will never get done because you haven't sit it down and, go through it and really believe that I'm gonna fucking get there,
Yeah, but that is the thing. And I think like, don't give up. Just because like the first company says no, it doesn't mean that you will never get there.
We're gonna get many no's in our lives, many no's.
Yes, I've had a lot of no's when I've been applying. So I think that is part of life. So it sounds cheeky, but it's basically true. Like, don't give up, continue to fight for it, and believe in yourself. Believe that you can do it.
And set time into growing your thing, because like we said earlier, I mean, Karoline has been studying and super cool, and I come from another part that we're just self-taught, and I'm doing art. Yes. So it's really, really cool what the self-belief takes you.
I think one thing with that is like, when I was a kid, I thought that you were kind of born with a talent if you could draw or not draw. Like,
I think that's something that we were taught a lot, right? That people magically have something.
Yeah. And then I remember I was talking to a friend of mine who is a really talented artist. And I was like, I mentioned something like, like for a joke, like, draw as a 10-year-old or something like that. And he was like, so when did you stop drawing? I was like, when I was 10. And he was like, yeah, that is.
Oh, that's so crazy. I told my mother the same thing because she was like really sad that she could only draw a little house. And I
Yeah.
asked her also, but when did you stop drawing? And she
Yeah.
said, yeah, like when I was like 6 or something. And I told it was like, then you are a 6-year-old drawing.
Yeah.
You haven't given yourself more time.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's so cool that you also go through that. Yeah, I want to hug you more now. So cool. All right, Karoline, we have a more question
Of
here.
course.
Ashley, well, I wasn't here, so maybe I missed this. I wonder what old video games and developers inspired you to make games. What was so dreamy, and what things did you want to improve upon from existing games?
Oh, wow.
Cool question, Ashley.
This is a
Thank
good
you.
question.
Yeah. So, who are your inspirations and what you want to improve?
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of inspirations here. One of the games, like the first games that I remember that I was like so hooked on, was The Sims. I remember I got it right before like our fall holiday. Like it's like, I'm not sure if it's the same in other countries, but in Sweden, like during fall, it's like in October, there is like 1 week of where you're off school, basically. Yes. A small vacation, basically. So I got it right in time for that. And before that, this is like the Sims 1. I hadn't.
Holy.
Yes. I mean, I had been playing games, but I hadn't really like been crunching them like that.
Yeah.
And I remember I started The Sims 3 and I couldn't stop. Like, I think I was almost playing for 3 days straight with almost no breaks. Like it was just like quickly to the bathroom and then back, and like almost no sleep. And then after those 3 days, I felt like, yeah, I'm not recommend to anyone doing that because you need your sleep, you need food.
How old are you back then, Karoline?
I think I was like 12.
Okay, it's okay. When you're 12, okay, but when you get a little bit older, I don't think you can do it.
yeah, but like I remember, so that was really, really cool, and I saw all the possibilities that you could like do there. But
so you were mind blown. Yeah, cool. So nice.
I think that was really, really cool. Then I remember when I was in high school, and this was actually a game that really wanted again to kind of push me into want to make games. And it was, it's kind of funny story. So there was this girl in my class. For some reason, we hadn't, it wasn't that we didn't get along, but we were kind of like neutral to each other. And then there was another girl that was really hyped. And she, for some reason, and I have no idea how she succeeded, she convinced the 3 of us to meet up at this girl's house. And I remember we were sitting down there a Friday night, and I was thinking like, what am I doing here with 2 people? I have no idea really who they are. Like, I don't really know them. And the girl that we were at, she was also a bit panicking. So she was like, should we play a game? And I was like, sure. And then she brought up this...
all awkward.
It was super awkward. But then she brought up this game called Persona 4, which is like a JRPG. And she started it. And that was also like so mind-blowing, so hooked. So after that, we were seeing, like we came over to her house every Friday to play that game.
Cool.
And we became like super, super close friends, thanks to this game. Thanks to that, we were just sitting, chatting, playing, we were moving the controller between us. And I just love that storytelling that he had in the game. Like once before, like I had played The Sims, but then it had been like Super Mario. It hadn't been those super, super story focused games. It had been more platformers and such that I've been playing. So I remember that was also a game that I was like, I want to make something like this.
Cool.
But yeah, and then since that, like it's been more and more games that I've been playing and been like, oh, this is so cool and this is so fun. And yeah.
That's so cute. Loved your stories. So I'm a bit envied that I wasn't invited to that night, though. Sounds lovely.
We can
Girls'
set up
night with
something,
video food. Yes,
something up
please.
like that.
Oh, so cool. Uh, so we have there was this continuation to that question.
Yeah.
What would you improve in existing games, or like the game industry? Yeah.
I think like every game that I've been playing, like especially when I was younger, I was like, oh, I wish this was added or that was added, and I had so many ways where I wanted to improve them or add stuff to them, basically. And I think like those kind of things, when you start to think about that, and you maybe try to do mods or like something for yourself, that is almost like the start of being a game designer.
Yes.
So I think like I'm not sure if I have any really good example to bring up right now, but like for instance, when I played the first Sims, these were things that were later added to the game. But I remember, like, when you play the first one, like, it was kind of like, oh, what if they had pets in the game, or what if there was seasons, what if it was this and that, and then of course they added it to the game eventually. But I know that it was those kind of things, like I know with Persona 4, I was like, I wanted to know what's happened next. Like I wanted to have another game, like I wanted to have like another season or another chapter. And they
more content.
Exactly. Exactly.
Cool. So you were like always kind of from the beginning playing like, I want more.
Yes.
So I'm gonna do it.
I mean, as an example, I know this was when I was even more younger, actually. I played or experienced Pokemon. I was like 10. And me and another friend, we got really like, oh my God, this is so good. So we actually were making, and this is going to be really weird now because I actually have it here because my parents are moving. And they are, because of they are moving, they are cleaning out. So I got a lot of stuff. So what we were doing, this is like from when I was 10. Oh, no.
It's a little bit.
Yes, I'm going to see.
I
think unblur it, maybe. Let's see if I can unblur things.
Unblur.
Me with my nun.
Yeah, now.
Here we go. So let's do it like this. So we painted our own Pokemon cards so we could like
so cute.
So we could like do our own rules for it. And this is like the 10-year-old me drawing these things with my friend. And like we did like this huge, like it's like super huge, like it's like a map where you could walk around with like, so yeah, it was really convenient now when we talked about it that I had it here. But yeah, these were like the things where we did, and then we created like our own Pokemons and stuff like that as well. So those were kind of the things that I remember we did like when I was 10, and now I just got them, so I got reminded of it from my parents because they were like, hey, we have a lot of your old stuff, like, so I got like a box from them because they're moving. So
wow, so cool. Also that they keep that, I mean, cool, very cool. And it that kind of shows also how a game begins, like a lot of sketches and everything looks a little bit everywhere, and on paper or on your computer, like that's the beginning. There were Karoline at the beginning, 10 years old. Oh my God, so cool.
Yeah, this is like my concept drawing as
your first portfolio there.
I haven't used it to show it mainly because like it's already an existing IP and stuff like that, but it was basically this was just like an example that I had like close to hand.
So cool.
That I was
Thank
doing.
you for sharing that. Super cute. So we have another question from Fabricio Santani. Is there a project you work on that's your favorite?
I mean, I really like all of the things that I've been working on. They have all been so different from each other. So I feel like it's hard to say that this has been my favorite. It's kind of like,
they're all your babies, right?
Yeah.
Somehow. So
And I
it's
mean, it's kind of like different, between like apples and pears. Like they are different things and have different
Exactly.
taste, and there's different things that I really liked about them, and so.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like for one instance, I'm really happy to have recently joined Ubisoft, since I've always wanted
Yes.
to try to work in a bigger company. So that is something I'm really, really excited
Cool.
about. But once again, I can't really say that anything is a favorite more than another, because every company and every project I worked on has been special at that
Yeah.
time and at that place, and it has really been somewhere where I've learned and grown and
Exactly.
got to know a lot of people and made friends and such.
Yeah, it's so cute. Also, this about just going through projects is they become part of your body somehow.
Yeah.
It's part of your growth. So it's really difficult to say a favorite.
Yeah.
So I totally get it. Så, jag har lite av mina egna questions här som jag ville jättegärna. Oh, sorry, I'm speaking Swedish.
I got so confused there. I was like, what language is that?
Sorry,
because I was in
just,
the English mode, and I was like no worries.
Nobody here. I'm confused sometimes. Yes.
No worries.
So I like dark things, you know our games.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you dark things now, okay? What's your biggest fear, Karoline? What makes you shake?
I think I have a fear that everyone hates me. Like, I think that is, yeah.
It
maybe
is
that.
very understandable. It's like we want the love, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
You have the love here. Hey, look. No hate here. No hate. Yeah. Oh, but then you're like really like this so cute, beautiful person. I just don't want to be hated. Oh.
I feel almost like one of your characters now. Like...
I love it. Love it. Love it. And yes, how does like an everyday look for you? Like your workflow? How do you start your day to get into, the focus and all that?
I mean, it once again, it depends what I'm doing. I
Yes.
usually like listening to music to get into the right mode for what I'm supposed to create.
Yes.
Like if I'm gonna create something more action filled, I want to kind of listen to that kind of like more music. If I'm gonna be creating, like, this was a long time ago, I was doing a Halloween quest for like Star Stable, then I was listening to a bit more spooky music to figure out some, a more spooky ghost story. So I kind of like music to kind of get into a mode, but it also kind of depends on what I'm doing. So I feel like usually it's hard to say how a normal workday look like, because it depends, once again, where you are in the project, what you're doing. I mean, sometimes it can be paper design that you just sit and write and draw and do like concepts. Sometimes it is just build, that you're like in an editor and you're just building stuff, you're scripting stuff, you're putting pieces together. Some days it's just meeting and talking to people and syncing and catching up. And so yeah, every day is so unique.
Sounds super fun. I totally see myself there as well. So I know what you're talking about. It's very cool. It's very cool. But when you go into like these writing moments and this, do you have like you exercise or anything outside the working, so to keep you track?
Yeah, I mean, I usually try to keep like a good balance cycle. Like, I'd like to try to do exercising, because working with games can be such, you sit still in front of the computer. And I think like it's good to just get some motion in your body, do something, let your brain rest, because in a way, when you're exercising, I kind of feel like my brain can rest, because I don't think, I just do it. And that can be really, really refreshing. And I think it's also a good thing to kind of feel like, a bit more calm afterwards, because otherwise, like, your brain can be so tired after a day with all the
Yes.
thinking and trying and stuff. So if you do some exercise, your body will be tired as well. And then you can just, crash down on the couch, have some dinner, and then go to bed. And like, yeah,
Yeah. Wind down somehow.
exactly. I
Yes.
think that's a really good way.
Yes. And then snuggle with the kittens on the bed.
Exactly.
Sounds dreamy. And you were living in Iceland.
Yeah.
I thought you were still there, and then all of the sudden you're in Sweden and
Yes.
moving around.
Exactly.
Yeah, but how was it there? I mean, the nature is so beautiful there. Yes, tell us about it.
I think Iceland is like, it really has stolen my heart. I think Iceland is such a beautiful country. The nature is amazing. The food is also really, really good. I think like the nature, it has been really, really inspiring.
Cool.
I went, before I moved back here to Sweden, I went to the northern part of Iceland, and it's quite different from the area around Reykjavik. And I just felt like when I saw all these areas that it was so like inspiring. I was like, I can basically see a game happening in this location, in this environment, like in these lava fields, or where you have like these different, just different and weird landscapes. It can be craters, it can be like underwater caves.
Wow.
Like water in a cave that is like hot water. I think
Wow.
that is, it's hard to explain, but it's
so magical. It's like what is doing Earth with this country?
Exactly.
Putting everything there.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, it has been one of my dreams to go there.
You should definitely do that.
Yeah. Now I hear it more from you. Like, oh my God. Did you see like horses or something?
Yeah. They have quite a lot of horses there. I actually tried to, you have to do like the horse back riding on an Icelandic horse.
Yeah.
Like when you're there. So I've done that.
Yeah.
I've also got to see some whales, because they have a lot of whales around the coastline. So that has also been something that's really cool.
Cool.
But they don't have that many wild animals. Like most of the animals there are like the horses, but they are super cute. And then they have a lot of lambs and sheep.
Yeah.
They're also really cute.
All the animals are cute.
Yes.
So nice. So yes, Karoline, I think we're coming to the end. It was super fun to have you here.
Yes.
And I'm gonna hunt you down for a hug sometime soon. All right. So
I think that sounds great.
And she will come too. And then we can hug each other.
Yes.
And be little ladies together. It was super fun to get to know more about your perspective when it comes to, working with the beautiful people around, creative people. So yes, and thank you for the encouraging words also about go there. Let's do this, right?
Yes.
And get believe in ourselves more. That's kind of what I'm taking from our conversation. More belief.
We need it.
Yes. And more love.
Yes.
Into what we do. Because also when we do stuff that we love, it's like our life in the overall becomes quite great,
Yeah. I mean, like I believe games can change the world. Like
yes,
we can do it.
Yes, exactly. We can do it. Let's go. All right, friends. So thank you so much, Karoline, for being here. And thank you, everybody that came around and sent the questions. It was super smart questions, like Karoline said, right? And yes, I'll see you in the next one. Bye, friends.
Bye.
Bye.